Boy Dame D, and I am back. What's up? What's up, y'all? What's good? Just checking in, chiming in, seeing how everybody's Friday's going. It's Freestyle Friday. Waiting on your boy Big Ken to check in and chime in. But before we go any further, let me make sure that you guys can hear me. Let me make sure that my audio uh, is fine. So give me 1 second. How's everybody Friday going? Friday night. All right. So I should be able to be heard. So I don't know why I'm not being picked up. Okay, there we go. So I can't be heard. Okay, there go Big Hand. So let me end this. Big dog, what up, dog?
What it do?
Not much, not much. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
For sure.
We got your boy Big Hen in the building. What's going on with you, big dog?
You got it. Just come and see what's check in on Freestyle Friday. What's going on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's Freestyle Friday, but before we get the show started, I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share to the show. I'm not on my normal setup, but we going to get the show, get the party started anyway. It's Freestyle Friday, man. So we just conversating and talking about, anything that's on your mind, man. What you got going on? Turn your phone, you ain't got your phone right.
This way.
There you go. Yep. So I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We got a few people that's in the building that's watching. It's Freestyle Friday. Um, I don't have any particular topics that we're going to talk about. Like I said on Freestyle Friday, turn your camera back around the other way, and you're showing your zigzags, your
Right.
OE setup and everything.
Right.
Yeah. So so nothing, man, just want to come in and chime in, man. It's Freestyle Friday. I want to come in and talk like how we said we were gonna do. And just chop it up. What's on your mind, man? How your day been going?
Man, one of them days in Detroit, Michigan, real cold, and just dealing
Yeah,
with the
that weather
weather.
been crazy the last 2 days, man. I talked to you the other day. It took me almost 2 hours to get home.
Yeah,
So that was the first snowstorm of the year. And hopefully the last.
that part.
Yep, yep. So what's going on in your parts of the city, man? Your neck of the woods.
Not much, man. Like I said, just waiting on this weather to break.
Okay, okay. So
That's
what's
about
going
it.
on? What's going on with them West Side bullies, man? We got to get that. We got to get that going.
Yeah, we most definitely got to get that going. You've been on me for a minute, so I definitely got to get it going for my own personal reasons. But yeah, we but you know what? Basically, was just down there with them not too long ago, getting them together because they can't go outside like they want to. You know what I'm saying? Because of the weather. So
Right,
I had
right.
to go
So
down there and spend a little
there we
time
go.
with them.
So what do you do? While we're talking about it now, we can go ahead and um, introduce your show to peoples that's watching it. West Side Bullies. Can they work? You tell everybody. But I'm gonna ask you this question, and then you can tell everybody the name. And what to check out. But during these times of the year, what do you do for your dogs when it's cold outside? You really can't take them outside for walks. What do you do to keep your dogs entertained? What do you do to keep your dogs physically fit in the wintertime?
I got this stick that it's got like a little toy on the end of it, and I play with them with that. Like give them little things to do on the inside for exercise. They got their little balls. Try to keep them interested any way I can to, not keep them out in that snow when it's cold like this. But I got 3 dogs, so they actually keep themselves entertained. You know how that go.
Right. For sure. For sure. So yeah, man, that's what it's about, man. You definitely have to be able to keep your dogs entertained, busy throughout the wintertime too, just as much as the summertime. So those are some ideas and some things that you guys can do if you also have dogs, but
Yeah, it's
yeah,
called
man,
the
go ahead.
the toy I was talking about is called the swing pole. And basically, you can exercise your dog anywhere, an apartment, basement, wherever you at, in a little space that you in, because it's like a little stick with a string going through it, and like a toy on the end, and you can make it longer and shorter, and the dog go crazy because it go in circles and all kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's called a flirt pole.
Okay, I might have to go get that, because like I said, my dog, I have not I normally been getting her out there on my days off, but on days like the last 2, 3 days with all this snow, I haven't been able to get my dog out, and she's been going crazy because she's definitely ready to get outside and get a walk, so that may be something that I need to invest in myself when I can't get my dog outside on walks, because your dog still needs to burn energy. It still needs to, do the things that it needs to do to burn energy and, get through his day, without
Right.
fucking your shit up.
But because a tired dog is a healthy dog, that's what everybody need to know. As
Right.
long as your dog tongue hanging out his mouth, he probably happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
My dog, she'll tell me, pretty much when she happy or not unhappy, by doing shit she shouldn't be doing. That'll let me know when she's not happy,
Right.
So but yeah, man, it's important, your dog is like a family member to you,
Most
my
definitely.
dog is, especially to me, so treat your dog like how you want to be treated.
Right. But
Yeah.
yeah, the name of my kennel is gonna be called West Side Exotics.
Okay.
I want to get my dog skin a little bit more better. They was going through some stuff, food allergies and stuff. So a lot of people know about that. So
Right.
I really ain't wanted to show them until I get their skin uh 1,000% better. But
Right.
I got exotic bullies, two black ones and a brown one, and they got stacked pedigrees behind them, and I want to eventually put their puppies out here for the world to enjoy them like I enjoy them and love them.
Yeah, man, we've been waiting on you to get out here, so
Yeah.
I definitely want to talk to you about that. Because like I said, man, it's a whole world of people, that's interested, and hearing what you have to say about your dogs and want the information, that they may not have that you may know about their breed, and just dogs in general. You know what I mean? So um, I think it's important for you to go on ahead and get that started and get it off the floor this year, because I think you'll be a help to a lot of people that's breeding dogs, that's raising dogs, and just have normal general questions, about their dog.
I'm all about it. Like, you've been my brother my whole life, so I love animals. So
For sure.
anything dealing with animals, I'm passionate about, especially with the dogs and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's been a lot of stuff going on this week. You know, and so on social media, I'll say in uh in Hollywood, I should say. I don't know if you hip to Corey Holcomb, the 5150
Oh
show,
yeah,
but he
yeah,
had a guest invited to his show that's from Detroit, Anton Daniels. He came on to the show. So are you familiar with what happened at that show?
yeah. It was wild. It was real wild.
It was
They
real
got
wild.
real wild. That's all I'm gonna say.
Give me your thoughts and opinion, man. Do you think do you think Corey Holcomb as the host handle himself properly? um what the answers and the answers that he asked Antoine, and then just it almost got physical, So give me your thoughts and your opinion on how you think Corey Holcomb handled the show, and give me your thoughts and opinions on what you thought Antoine Daniels did to be able to provoke Corey Holcomb.
Well, if I'm being truly honest, I came in on just seeing them going at it. You know what I mean? So I really don't know exactly what they was going at it about, but I did feel like old boy might have been from Detroit. He might have been a little bit too aggressive about how he was coming at Corey. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, and I agree. And I had right before we started the show, I was talking, with Real Talk with Big Dave. Make sure you guys go over there and subscribe to his channel, Real Talk with Big Dave. To me, and I almost lost my train of thought what I was getting ready to say. To me, they were kind of bumping their gums, but oh, okay, this is what me and Dave were talking about. I think Antoine Daniels kind of overrepresented himself, like by saying, because people from Detroit, we don't really have to say we from Detroit. You know what I mean?
Right,
So that
right.
kind of put a bad look on the city. Um, but at the same time, I will say he handled his self. He did not let Corey Holcomb, um, show him out. He was like, I am gonna not let you boss up on me, on your show, Corey. So give me your thoughts, man. I thought it was gonna get physical, but to me, I think it was more like a show for ratings and things like that. But give me your opinion on that, big dog.
I want to ask you a question. Do you know what it was about?
It was about pretty much Corey Anton Daniels came on the Corey Holcomb brought Anton Daniels on the show, and basically he tried to tell Anton Daniels that the only thing that you good for doing is you know um talking down bad on black folks. You never talk down bad on white folks. Your whole um his whole act, his whole show, is about putting down, the black man or the black woman. And Corey Holcomb whole thing is, why don't you talk about the negativity that you see white folks do? You know what I mean? And that time Daniels, he was like, I do, I talk about it, but so that's what the whole argument was about, about him not being aggressive towards white folks on his show. And Corey Holcomb tried to front him out.
Mm. I don't know. I kind of like, uh, Corey Holcomb. That's basically what his reporting is on Black Stars. So, I don't know about how he reported about white entertainers or white people. Period. I don't know, but I do hear him talking about a lot of black people. So that's a fact.
Right. So what I'm gonna do is, while you talking, I'm gonna try to see if I can find part and play part of the audio, so people can hear it, so you can hear it, and then you can give me more thoughts on what you think, because it was more Corey tried to confront him on, like, why you always coming down hard on black folks, why don't you have the same energy for white folks.
Mm.
And that's what it was about.
He felt some kind of way about that. I don't feel that kind of way about Corey. I think he addressed the subject at hand.
No, that's what Corey came on Anton Daniels about. Corey told him, like, look, you always coming down on black folks. Why don't you come down on white folks? But I'm gonna play a little bit of the
You
show.
said the guy from Detroit said that about Corey.
No, Corey said that about Anton Daniels, who's from
See, I
Detroit.
don't know. I don't know too much about Anton
Yeah,
Daniels.
see,
So
and that's what's so crazy, because I didn't know much about him neither until this actually went down. I may have heard of the name, but I really didn't know, who he was until
who
this
is he?
actually went down.
Who is he?
2026. Okay, here it is. Listen.
For our people who have knowledge of self and understand the landscape that we're in.
Can you hear this clear?
Time to update.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of things. You know what I mean? Even when it comes to the list of agents of chaos, because I do believe we have a new generation of, agents, double agents who look just like me and you, but they really work for the oppressed.
And this is
Gotta
Anton
understand,
Daniels
most
speaking.
of us have been raised in a system.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. My bad, bro. Sorry about that. This is the narrator of this show. Hold on.
All of this was done to condition us.
Here, I'm about to rewind it back. Sorry about that. Here we go.
California Southern University, we understand your career
You can hear this loud and clear though?
and you're looking for
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here it is right here.
personalized.
I'm tripping. All right, here we go.
Study this episode. Shout out to the shit on Caucasian males. Shout out to the shit on. I'm not gonna shit on nobody. Yeah, you shitted on black people. You shitted on motherfuckers. I feel like I shitted on you. To your face. To your face. Careful shitting on me. I feel like you're talking shit again. I'm not talking shit. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You shitted on me to my face, but that shit Corey, to some danger. Would we please stop the trust me, the tough talk? I got security. You got security. I ain't got security. They're my people. Cool. Them your. Yo, what's up? It's bro, man. From the flow.
So that's a little bit of it. Let me fast forward it.
Tuned in.
And fair use. This is for educational.
Listen, y'all.
And commentary purposes only.
5150 show late last night. For those who may not know, Corey Holcomb had Anton Daniels on the show, and quickly things escalated after Corey challenged him on some of his talking points in regards to white people in the industry. All right, it seemed as if Anton, on his own, when it was time to criticize.
And you can hear that loud and clear.
That's when Anton started to move a little different. You get what I mean? One thing led to another, and before you know it, Corey and Anton are face to face, similar to Zoe and Ari Spears, for those who remember a couple of years ago, several years ago, because time is moving. But listen, y'all, we're going to check out these clips so y'all can hear and see exactly what was said and done. And then I'm going to give y'all my take afterwards.
All right, so here we go. So this is what happened on the show that led to
reaction.
Them almost
and
getting
Anton
ready
Daniels,
to
all right?
move some furniture.
Exactly what everyone is talking about, because man, it could have went there, to be honest with you. And thankfully it did, but got very heated. So like I said, let's play these clips. I got 2 clips for y'all we're gonna check out, and I'm gonna give y'all my take, because man, this was crazy. Make sure to straight to the.
All right, here we go. This nigga talking too much. All right, here we go.
Of Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels heated exchange that took place last night on the 5150 show. I'll start to it.
All right, here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. It depends on the circumstance. And the interesting thing about it is this: the majority of the people, because you like to use a blanket statement. That's like me saying.
And you can hear this loud and clear, right?
Yeah.
You said all white people stupid. No, I'm talking about you should say that one time. I'm talking about, because it's easy to say all black people are stupid as an example. Say something about the white people. No. You're not. I don't think you got it all the time. Oh, well, I didn't hear you. Can you tell me? Because I don't know. Liberal white women literally being the biggest enemy of the United States of America. That's the thing I say every single day. Female, the biggest. Literally, white liberal women are the worst thing that ever happened to this country. What about the men? But we gonna get there. Because you
that's a fact. I agree with him on that.
By participating and joining in on the court. I think you're doing what's easy. No. I'm doing what's real. I think you don't want to go against them. Because if you go against them, it'll be some video and you going against them. When I say them, I'm talking about your boss. I don't have a boss. Say that. I can say that. But I don't have a boss. It's a reason.
So you say that. We say that.
Males or black people quicker than you will go after white males. What are white males responsible for in this country as a downfall of it? Accountability smoke giver. I talk about everybody. I'm just saying, I ain't heard you talk about white men. Well, you ain't been up here. You ain't been listening. I've been listening to you. I hear you. You don't have the capacity to be able to listen because you're too busy. Too busy. My capacity that you just criticized, that's an opinion. Here's the fact. Have you You said something about Caucasian males and how they destroy this nation. Well, what did I miss? Let's slow down. Because you're talking loud, but you're not saying a lot. No, you talking loud, and you still talking around. What did the Caucasian male do to America? I'm not bring it down. I'm not getting into that. I'm dancing around it. That's why I lose respect for you when you start dancing and kissing Caucasian males' ass. But I don't. Don't do that in front of me. I'm not
Okay.
an ass kisser of nobody. Yes, you are. You suck the black people right now. You doing the easy shit. What you do, let me tell you what you do. No, see, ain't nobody gonna tell you something. I don't gonna tell you.
Okay, so it seemed like Corey
Yeah,
started
so
the
see,
Corey started the name calling.
he told Corey, hold on, I'm gonna pause this. Give me 1 second.
I don't do that. Listen.
He told Corey that you suck a lot of DICK of black folks now. And that's when Corey basically got close to him, and they got confrontational and was each other and each
Yeah,
other's
that's when I came in on it. I seen that, but
right.
I didn't know what had led up to that part.
Yeah, all right. So now hearing that, what led up to that, give me your thoughts and your opinion, on how both of the on how Corey and Antoine, handled that situation. Like I said, in my opinion, I think they both were just bumping their gums. It was just for the ratings. But give me your opinion, give me your thoughts on that.
I feel like, hey, they both got their own channels or whatever. You can say what you want to say. So I feel like, it was really stupid for them to get into it.
I agree. Especially live on TV. It was a
Yeah.
bad look on a black community. To see two black men, up there, pretty much going at it.
That's like somebody trying to tell you what type of topic to have on what was on the What Up Though show. You have whatever type of topics you want to have on your show because it's
Yeah.
your show.
Corey called himself trying to check him, about, being so hard on black men, with his show. Basically Corey was like, that's what your whole gimmick and your whole show is about. He was like, why don't you come down hard on white men? So give me your thoughts on that. Why do and I know you probably don't, and you said it earlier, because I didn't know who Antoine Daniels was until then, but give me your opinion. Why do you think he don't come down hard, on white men, on his shows or when he's talking, using talking points?
I don't know. Maybe he was raised liberal. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, and pretty much that's what Corey was hitting at. He's on the liberal side, and pretty much for the most part, he's coming for the left.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check him out and see what he about, so I can really have more opinion on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He sound Corey. If Corey going in on him, I want to say that I would have to see why he going in on him because I respect Corey Holcomb. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, I think Corey's a good guy. At the end of the day, I hated to see. I'm glad that it didn't get physical, like how it did when he had Zoe on the show and Ari Spears and they tore up the studio, So that was a good thing. Corey came out out of a lot of money, during that episode, So it was a good thing that it didn't get physical. At the end of the day,
Now I
So,
ain't see that episode. I'm gonna have to
yeah,
go check
you
that
have
one
to
out.
go back. Yeah, and that happened maybe about 2-3 years ago,
Uh,
or longer. Zoe was on the show for years, and they got
yeah,
into it.
yeah. Okay.
Yep. So I'm glad that it didn't come to that.
Yeah.
They was able, you know, um, I'm not gonna say they ended the show on a good note, because Corey he got real crazy at the end. He was like, yeah, you bring this bitch on my show, you bring this bitch with you on my show, trying to get on my show, asking me if she can come on the show with me and stuff like that. So man, it could have gotten out of hand, but it did not, So I'm glad it didn't, because it would have been a bad look,
Anytime
for
I'm gonna
both of the
say
guys.
this. I'm gonna say this. Anytime you were reference another man about dick sucking, it's gonna get out of hand.
Yeah, you know, and that's why that's when Corey got up, you know, and got in
Yeah,
his face, and it damn near was getting ready to go down.
because from him being from the D, he already know that shit. So I feel like he wanted to smoke.
Yeah, he did. He wanted to smoke, you know. I mean, he said that's why he came there, you know, to confront Corey and give him the smoke right there in front of his face, you know. But like I said, at the end of the day, you know, to me, it was, you know, I think it was they both were just bumping their gums, and it was all for the ratings. And I'm glad that it didn't happen, you know. But moving on to another subject, man. Give me your, you know, give me your thoughts and your opinions on what's been going on in Minnesota, Minneapolis. You know, with the ICE agents who recently just killed and shot a young woman in the face earlier in the week. You know, and then I believe it's been maybe 2 or 3 other shootings, ICE agents getting shot, and you know other um, I'll say illegal aliens that they've been looking for out there, you know, that's been shot. So give me your thoughts on the whole situation, you know, leading up till now, you know, starting from when the young lady, you know, were out there protesting and got shot in the face. Give me your thoughts and opinion on that, Big Ken.
I think it's horrible that it's don't came down to it, whereas unarmed civilians uh getting shot in the face. I don't know. I just think this ICE thing is nobody to police them. You know what I mean?
Man, a lot of people saying she got what she deserved. You know, I don't know if you saw the video, but they had she was out there in the truck blocking the ICE agents while they were trying to get by. You know, they told her to move out the way. She didn't immediately. You know, a few of them. Well, one of them walked up to her car, tried to open up the door, pull her out. You know, which they had the car surrounded. They were outside on foot when this happened. Had the car surrounded. She tried to pull off, veer off, almost hit the officer who was in front of her. He ended up shooting while she drove past, shot her in the face, and killed her. You know what I mean? So it's been an outrage since then. You know, give me your thoughts and opinion, you know, on the actual shooting and killing that happened that day, Big Ken.
I mean, we all got mental illness in our family. What if this woman or whoever had mental illness and
But
the
she
police?
didn't, and she didn't have mental illness. She was
Okay.
a protester out there protesting. You know, that day when that happened,
Okay, so she's a protester out there protesting, and
they were
they
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 were
felt like
following the ICE agents around.
they felt like that she was finna cause them some type of ill will. I don't know, man. Uh, that's a hard one. And then they ICE, so they train to do whatever's necessary. I don't know. I feel like they could have handled it a little bit better. A whole lot better. I'm gonna say that. People getting killed. The police supposed to be out there. Well, they're not the police, so they ICE agents. So there's nobody
Well,
to police them.
they're federal agents. So
So ain't
so
nobody to.
technically
There's
they
nobody
are
to
the
really to
police.
police them. So they can really do what they want to do. So I don't know, man. It's a lot going on that need to be talked about. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say
no, it
that.
is. You know, in my opinion, man, I believe that that officer needs to be um needs to be in front of a jury and a judge, you know, because what he did right there on that day, it was murder. You know, the you can when you watch the video, you can see the woman actually trying to move out of the way of the officer, not trying to hit him. You know, he literally murdered that woman in cold blooded, shot her dead in the in the face out there, murder her. You know, so in my opinion, man, you know, I think that it needs to be some thinking of how these ICE agents are going about handling their business. You know, because they're down there in the city. You know, and I spoke with Keisha earlier. You know, she works at the airport. And she worked out at the airport in Minneapolis. You know, it's a large group, a large community of Somalian Africans out there. It's like a melting pot for multi races that's out there. You know what I mean? So federal agents been sent out there, and that's what's going on with the protesters. They're following the ICE agents around as they actually go and try to capture these immigrants that's out there in Minneapolis.
Wow. Yeah, that's deep. I feel the same way you feel, bro. Like, somebody was murdered and it could have been prevented. You know what I mean? So uh it's a lot of stuff that I want to say. But right now, who's gonna police the police?
Yeah, because the community response it's been crazy. It's been an uproar. It's been a nonstop protesting. They may be protesting and out there rioting. I'm not going to say rioting, because it's definitely, been somewhat peaceful far as the protesters, but it's definitely been an uproar with the community. The community. The community has definitely come behind and back these protesters. This woman who's been shot in the back. It's not just me. And it's on both sides, man. You got a lot of people that think this woman deserves what she got. What do you think about that? For the people that thinks that, you know, it was all right for this federal ICE agent to shoot this woman in the face.
Well, you already know. I feel like you know whose side they on.
Mm.
We ain't even got to guess whose side they on. If you feel that this ICE agent was right, we know you a Trump supporter. I'm gonna say that. I
Yeah.
hate, you know what I'm saying, because that's who brought ISIS there. So whatever uh ICE stand for, they standing for whatever Trump stand for, and I believe that anybody that's supporting this type of rhetoric is a Trump supporter, and the worst kind of Trump supporter. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, but these agents got to be careful, man. Because them going out there shooting and killing people, they're putting themselves in a kind of in a messed up situation where they can actually be judged. Because like I said, when I saw the video, man, to me, in my opinion, it was a cold blooded murder. You know what I mean? So they definitely need to be careful. Because like I said, it's been a community uproar. The community pretty much wants to get these ICE agents up out of there. And at some point they're going to be willing to do whatever they need to do necessary. Because it's going to come to some point, Big Hen, where the community is going to start to fight back. You cannot just continue letting these motherfucking agents, be the judge, the jury, and the executioner. So give me your thoughts on that, man. What at some point, how can we protect ourselves from allowing, these agents to be able to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner?
We got to start being a part of the meetings that they having, because shit, from what I can see, we wake up overnight, they don't pass the new fucking law. So we need to be a part of the conversation. That's what it is. They don't include us in the conversation. We wake up damn near back in slavery if we don't be careful. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean that shit.
Yeah, I mean that's true, because at the end of the day, hey, shit, they can start coming for, hey, but that's another
That's
story.
a
That's
whole
something.
nother story. But it's just that serious. Like, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yeah,
You know.
and like I said, man, at the end of the day, those people are out there, and this is this is a last question I'll probably will ask about that. Do you think that's a fight that black folks should be fighting in? Do you think this should be a concern, of the African American race?
I mean, I say yeah, because we got Haitian brothers and sisters and African brothers and sisters this here that might have to go through that same ISIS type situation. So yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna be humane and a person that give a fuck about another human being, yeah, I would have to say yes.
Okay, and a lot of people would agree with you. You know, you know, I can agree to disagree. Um, I say that's a fight that black folks should stay out of. Um, we have no dog in this fight. Um, at the end of the day, because like I said, what I'm
But
trying to
we
find
know, but we know wrong from right. Just like you feel like it was wrong for that officer to shoot that woman in the head. So I would say that you more on their on that side.
No, I agree with what you're saying. We know right from wrong, but at some point, some fights, you have to pick and choose your fights. I say continue, to let the people that's out there protesting, back and fight for these immigrants, but these immigrants are taking away, a lot of shit from, the American people. So really at the end of the day, man, this really is not a fight that, I think black folks should really be concerned in.
I mean, as far as us out there jumping in line and doing all of that, we don't have our share of that shit.
Because you
You
got to
see
ask
what
your
I'm saying?
question. What was these same people, these same immigrants, standing up for, the rights of us, when shit was going on for our people. So you got to ask
I
yourself those questions.
I don't even think they was here.
Whether they were here or not.
Right. But I understand where you going with it.
Did their
Yeah.
country, did their
They
nations reach out, and make it publicized that, they feel and see what's going on to the peoples over here, in the United States. So you got to look at certain things like that. And I'm not saying that what that ICE agents did was right, because it was damn wrong, and he needs to be judged for that. But sometimes certain fights, you just got to stay away from it. And I just think us as as black folks, that's a fight that
the whole the
is
whole
we should stay out of. It's not for us.
we already done been through the whole civil rights movement, so everybody really coming off our tailcoat, even from the gay pride, all these different
Yeah,
nationalities
yeah,
being here.
hey, listen,
They come
they tailcoating off of the they taking, all those movements are taken away from, the real original civil rights agenda.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. You have to be blind not to see that, and you got white folks that talk about it every day. Like this is something that black people started, and everybody else just pulling in from what they said and what they did. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody else. We was the ones to put out the real blood and sweat and tears for shit to change.
Yeah, see, and that's why
Everybody
I
else
say,
just out here uh spitting their gums.
yeah, everybody else is just, reaping the benefits off the sweat and the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors. So that's why I say sometimes certain fights, man, we got to stay out of. And white folks, they have to understand, yeah, continue to fight for these immigrants, but you have to fight the same fucking way, for the citizens that was here to help build this country. Fight for our rights, fight for what we've been wanting. You know, um, over 400 or 500 years. So you got to remember that. You guys have to also, fight for the citizens, for your citizens that's been here, that basically help you build this country. You know what I mean? So, you can't just continue to back immigrants and not back your fellow American that's been here through thick and thin. And that's what I'm about, and that's all I'm talking about, Big Head. But I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and give me your thoughts on the on this discussion. Give me your thoughts on this opinion. Do you feel like blacks have any fight, any dog in this fight? I would love to hear your opinion. So Big Ken, if you have anything else to add to this topic, we can move on to our final last discussion.
I mean, I'm gonna say it again. Everybody got to understand it's an agenda for everything. Um, like they got their own agenda just like we had ours, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, we as black people, we just really sitting back like, wow, they realizing what we went through, and now they being forced up out of here. We got forced in here.
Right. That's something, ain't it?
You leave, you think about that shit right there. We got forced in here. They getting forced out.
Right. Yeah, that's a lot to think about, but like I said, man, at the end of the day, we have to choose and pick our battles. I think this is a fight that we don't have a dog in. We should allow the people that's out there protesting and marching, trying to fight for them, continue to do that. But those same people have the same energy, for your African Americans
Right.
that's been over here for what, over 400-500 years now, have
Right.
that same energy for our rights and the things that we want, as Americans, and at that, I really don't have anything else to add to that. We have to, be on the fair playing ground, when you're coming to defending people, so you have to defend
And
the
let me say
people
this: when
first.
has the playing ground ever been fair for us?
Yeah, it'll never be fair, but so that's why I said we really don't have a dog in this fight, they don't really too much get behind, um, in certain issues and certain things that, that's important to us, so
I ain't
sometimes
never,
we just gotta
I've
sit
never
back
heard
and
them
watch what's
have
going on.
anything to say about us. Nothing.
Say that again.
We always been in this race by ourselves because ain't nobody ever stuck up for us but us.
Yeah, pretty much at the end of the day, so that's
Yeah.
why I say certain fights, man, you have to sit back on the sideline and watch what happened. So with this, man, we just gotta sit back and watch what happened and learn, from what's going on. Because at the end of the day, man, it's really something else that's really getting ready to go on, with all of this, so we have to continue to do our due diligence on watching what's going on, be proactive, on just everything that's going on with this whole, Trump administration, and with this whole ICE thing, But I do want to touch on, the black athlete, on where this head. We touched on this a little bit earlier. We don't have to go too much in depth. And what I mean by that is I have not done too much of my research on a lot of the quarterbacks that we talked about. But I do want to touch on this briefly. The face of the black athlete, and we talked about this, and this is nothing racial or nothing like this. This is just true and facts. The black athlete, especially predominantly, in the NBA, majority of these athletes, um, especially in the NFL, the quarterback, the dominant role, you're looking at a mulatto state of a player now. Give me your thoughts and give me your opinion on this. Why are we seeing, a lot of the mulattoes, starting to, overtake and dominate, in these sports?
Yeah, we was talking about it earlier. It's deep, man. It's almost like the money that's being made by our black young men is almost like being generational wealth for the white woman, and at the end, instead of going back to the black family, because what we seeing in the NFL and in the NBA is all these mixed guys, and I got mixed friends. I have none like you said. This ain't about race. It's just facts. Like,
No, it's not, listen, and first and foremost, it's nothing about race. It's just about facts and just conversating and just really what's going on in the league. But go ahead, Big Ken.
we got Steph Curry, who's mixed. His father was a
No,
black
I no,
fullback.
I don't think he's mixed. I think
It,
his mom and
it,
his dad is black.
no. Okay. Well, I'm gonna
We're
say,
gonna we're gonna start with Patrick Mahomes.
go ahead.
Patrick Mahomes, my mother is white, his dad is black. He's pretty much been the face of the NFL, the pretty much the standout quarterback, 3-time NFL champion. Give me your thoughts and your opinion, on how he's been the face of the league. And most would say as a black quarterback, but in all reality, and when you look at it, far as uh what you would call him, he's a mulatto. So just give
Right.
me your opinion on that.
Well, I mean, that's what happens once it's been. I believe that it's been set up like that, for generational wealth. Because if this man goes and marry a white woman and she have kids, normally it's going back to the white race.
That's
You
deep,
know.
man. That's deep. You know, um,
Yeah.
that's deep if that's what's going on, but that's crazy, man. That's what's really been going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of questions that people been having is, we see a lot of our athletes, our entertainers, they're surrounded by um white agents. And my question is, not just agents, but also agents and what's the other one that I'm looking for? Agents and lawyers, I should say. Is there not enough black agents and lawyers to be able to be able to be employed by these athletes? My thing is, why do they always surround themselves around our agents? Around our athletes and our entertainers. And it goes back to what you were saying.
Yeah. Back to what I was saying. I believe that the people that's directing these black athletes to deal with other races knows the agenda, and it's been like that since black athletes started to make millions. Because if you think about it, I hate to say it, that our people is gifted as athletes. So to attack our black men and black women, I ain't gonna say black men and mostly black men, and but some black women's, to attack them down the line with their kids by being raised biracial. So if they're biracial, 9 times out of 10, that biracial child is gonna go and marry a white woman. He's not
Yeah.
gonna go back and marry that black side of the family, which means that that money goes back to the white side of the family.
See, and when we talked about this earlier, we also talked about that. This is totally not racial talk. It's about facts. Because you don't see white athletes marrying black women, and that money is being transferred over to the black community.
Right,
If you see it, it's rare. I'm
right.
not going to say it happens, but my question to you, Big Hen, why don't you see that happening? Why don't you see the white athletes surrounding themselves with black lawyers, black agents, and then marrying black women? Therefore, transferring their white wealth to black wealth. Give me your thoughts and opinion on that. Why do you see it the opposite way, and why don't you see it? Why don't you see it on one side and not the other?
Because they born into the money. They know how they want to keep the money. So with us, it's like when we come into that money, we feel like I hate to say it, and we taught to be like this, even with the groupies. And I'm not. I play sports, but I definitely know in the NBA and the NFL, baseball, with the groupies coming at them, they not dark skinned black women.
Yeah, Mike Anthony 7847 said Daniels is my dog. So what Daniels are you talking about? So let us know. But yeah, man, these are questions that need to be raised up and need to be asked. You don't really hear a lot of people talking about these questions. Why don't you see, white athletes marrying black women, therefore changing the dynamics of that black woman's family? You only see black men were changing the marrying white women, changing their dynamics. And it's it should be it should be looked at as a problem. Because you don't see white athletes with black agents or black lawyers. You only see black athletes and entertainers with with white lawyers and white agents, and it's been like that for years, and don't nobody really talk about it or have these discussions. So give me your opinion on that whole scenario, Big Hen. It's deep.
I mean, it's kind of weird when I watch basketball,
Yeah,
and I'm starting to see all of these mixed guys out here playing basketball. Like you can tell that they mix. Like their mamas is white or vice versa. Like they coming out of the woodworks, and that's only because I believe that all our athletes have went out and they marrying and having families with white women, and it's a cycle that's going on. So, and everybody is watching this show now, they about to see what we saying. You go look at basketball and you go look at football now, you have a more melodicized race now. You got
yeah, you do.
quarterbacks
When we
that
talked about it earlier, it tripped me out. I said, you know what? You're right. Especially in the NBA. And it's really quarterbacks in the NFL. I wanted to go and get all the names of the quarterbacks. I did not do it before, I did the show, so I just came in and we were talking about it. But I want to get back to some of the comments. Mike Anthony 7847 said he were talking about Anton Daniels that got into it with Corey Holcomb. That's your dog. So give me your opinion, Mike Anthony, on that whole situation with Corey Holcomb. You know, did Antoine Daniels get his point across, or did Corey Holcomb handle himself well? Do you think both of them handled that situation well? And then Mike Anthony also said because white is viewed as the top, and that's crazy, and I believe he's right. Most people do, and most even our people, view white as the top race. That's why you probably see a lot of our athletes go out and marry and choose to be with white women because they feel like that shows um, that they've made it to the mountaintop, that they can be on the arm of a white woman.
it's deep.
It's deep.
It's I love it either way it go because mixed or not mixed, you still gonna be considered black. But it's deep how they putting these people at the forefront, letting us know that hey, if these black people gonna be running things, they got to look like this.
Mm. And that's what's really been going on, over pretty much the last 10 years, well, really the last 15 years. Most of the athletes, in top positions, especially in the NFL, quarterbacks are mulatto men. And then you just see it throughout the NBA, no matter what position. And I just wanted to, we talked about this earlier before we actually did the show, and I'm like, this would be an awesome and great conversation to have for people, to interact and make comments on, and it's not in no racial type of way. It's just a fact. That's what's been going on. And you just have to ask yourself that question, like what is going on, and what is going on is, the majority of our athletes and entertainers, are choosing to marry and be with white women versus being with black women, and that's really what it is at the end
And
of
they
the day.
not seeing how the general how we was just saying that wealth goes back into the white family instead of back into the black family because when you do that, it's like it's gonna turn that way. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
and that's
they
what's
know that.
going on, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I brought up. It seems like these white agents and lawyers always surround themselves around our athlete. And it seems like our athletes and entertainers have to realize that. You don't really see the opposite of that. And there got to be a reason for that. It's almost like it's in a contract that they have to have a white agent. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Where all the black agents at, persuading them to do the things that they want to do instead of persuading them to
You
be
know,
the
our
way that they are.
our black fucking agents are not good enough to make the same negotiation and contract deals of these white agents. You got to ask yourself this question. Because that's what it seems like to me. Mike Anthony 7847 said when bros like Umar talk about keeping it in the black community, I'm all for that participation in voluntary. Yeah, I agree. Because at the end of the day, man, I'm love who you love who loves you. Whatever works for you works for you. But I'm just pointing out the indifferences in our top entertainers and our athletes. You know, and I'm not going to say it's a problem. It's just a reality. Of what's going on. And I think, you know, um, this is something that needs to be talked about.
It's not a lot of Michael Vicks at the forefront, and it's obvious.
Yeah, Mike Anthony said participation in this system is voluntary. I agree. It's definitely voluntary. But it's almost like it's in their contract that they have to sign, with a particular or certain agent. You know what I mean? Because that's all you see. And I just wanted to raise that question. So Big Ken, give me your last thoughts, man. And let everybody know what you got going on and where they can reach
Everybody stay positive. Stay blessings up. Praise to the Most High. I gotta say that. If you're a religious person, if you're not, try to do something positive in your life. Life is real short right now. People is dying every day. Everybody is losing a loved one. So, give everybody their flowers while they here. That's all I got to say. Y'all can catch me on the What Up Though show. You know what it is.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Mike Anthony also said, stay up, bro. Be good, be blessed. He also said, God is good. Keep God number one for sure. I want to thank you for your comments. I want to thank you for your interaction, chopping it up with us. Man, at the end of the day, it's Friday. We had a great conversation. I just wanted to, we just wanted to bring, what we saw, in the black athlete, man. It's a fact of what's going on. We don't know if it's something that's planned, but it's definitely going on. You can see it. A lot of people probably didn't really pay attention to it, but it's what's going on. So I wanted to talk about that for a little bit. I'm glad your boy Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb did not get up there, and embarrass themselves in front of their audience. Because at the end of the day, it would have been a tragedy, for two black men to get up there in front of the nation. I mean, not in front of the nation, but to get up there in front of the country and embarrass themselves over some stupid ass social media shit. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, man, it was not a good look. I thought really it was just all for the ratings. So I'm glad.
It was entertainment for sure.
Yeah, no, it was entertainment, man.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
enjoyed it. It was good. It was good for the show. I'm quite sure. They tried to do with Cat Williams and your boy. What's his name? Damn, I forget his name. the Shay show. They tried to do them
Okay.
Shay numbers with that one. They tried to do the Shannon Sharp and the Cat Williams type numbers,
Right.
you know, with with
Right.
all that. You know, it was a good show, man. It was entertainment, you know, and that's what it's about. You know, I'm just glad they didn't get up there and embarrass themselves. You know, in our race, man, you know, because that's at the end of the day, man, you know, we see a lot of that, you know, on TV, on the news, you know, our black people fight, you know, so that wouldn't have been a good look, you know, for the black entertainer, you know, with these two guys. So I'm glad it didn't go down. You know, so I don't have anything else to add, man. You know, hopefully, you know, we can get this ICE situation under belt, man. I don't think anyone needs to die in these situations. No one should be out there getting shot. People are just trying to live their lives, you know. But at the end of the day, man, I think this is a situation where black folks need to stay out of this. Let the protesters that's out there, that's already out there doing their thing, help these immigrants and protest for them and get them through this situation. You know, so like I said, at the end of the day, man, hopefully everybody had a great Friday and we're safe. You know, and I just want to wish everybody a good MLK weekend. You know, a lot of things that we talk and that we're saying and doing now, you know, is because of Martin Luther King was able to risk his life and get up there and march, you know, and fight, and actually gave his life for us to be able to do what we're doing, Big Hen. You know, so I want to give a thanks to MLK, you know, for being the man that he was. I don't agree in a lot of things that he said and did, you know, but one thing that he did stand for is for his people, you know. So I want to thank him for what he did, you know, at the end of the day. And I just want everybody to be safe and have a great MLK weekend. You know, it's been another one. It's your boy Dame D, and I am out.
Peace.
Peace.